The sugar maple became a state tree in 1949, actually on March 7th. And it is one of the most abundant trees in the state, just behind its close cousin, the red maple. We think there's about somewhere between 600 and 700 million of these trees, and again, very abundant and very important to West Virginia. One of the most well-known facts about sugar maple is that it allows us to produce the delicious maple syrup. Here in West Virginia, there's about 13,000 gallons of maple syrup produced every year. It takes about 40 gallons of tree sap to make 1 gallon of maple syrup. So you can imagine all the tree sap that's being collected every year. It's a lot of work, a lot of fun, and of course it's great on pancakes. There are more than 50 members in the West Virginia Maple Syrup Producers Association, and they're scattered throughout the state, but mostly sugar maple grows at the higher elevations, more abundant at higher elevations. Sugar maple is distributed all around the eastern United States, maybe except the southern states, but mostly in the northern areas. And West Virginia is a really important state for sugar maple. It has a lot of them, as we mentioned, in terms of how many there are here in the state. To identify a sugar maple tree, the most recognized attribute is the leaf, and it kind of looks like a palm. It has 5 lobes with little pointed tips at the end of those lobes. And another way is to look at the bark. And on a mature tree like this, bark has these flaps that are fairly tough. They're about 1/4 inch thick, and they turn up on one side. You can see how these ridges turn up on one side of this tree here. Another way to identify the tree is that the leaves are arranged opposite one another on the twig, very fine twigs. At the tip of the twig is a small brown, chocolate brown bud with lots of little overlapping scales on it. The tallest sugar maple tree in West Virginia is about as tall as a 10-story building. Do you know how tall that is? 100 feet is about the length if you took a blue whale and put it on its tail, stretching all the way up to the tip of it, about 100 feet. That's a tall tree. You can find out what all the champion trees are, how tall they are, how big they are, by going to a list from the West Virginia Division of Forestry. But sugar maple, its largest tree is about 5 feet in diameter and about 100 feet tall, so really big trees. Sugar maple has a very hard wood, and it's used in different ways in one particular sport. Do you know what that is? It's bowling. And many of these bowling alleys, the floors are made of hard maple or sugar maple. Hard maple is another name for sugar maple. And in the bowling pins themselves, wood is glued together and it's formed into these pins. And there's millions of pins that are made every year for bowling enthusiasts. So when you're out on the trail this year, keep your eye out for the sugar maple.